all others to step forward to the front podium. Each podium has a countdown clock located to the speaker's right that will indicate how much time is remaining. A bell will sound when you have 30 seconds left. Speakers registered on the consent agenda items will be taken following the announcements of any items pulled from the consent agenda. Speakers registered on non-consent items other than public hearing and zoning cases will be taken following council announcements. Speakers will be given 3 minutes to speak on all items within those blocks that they registered to speak on. Before you begin your comments, please state your name. Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome to your June 27th City Council meeting. I'll call us to order.
Today's invocation will be provided by Councilmember Flores. Please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the pledges of allegiance.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together in the spirit of fellowship and assembly. Thank you for finally gathering this City Council together in its current form. Help us to work well with one another, respect our differences, as well as our agreements. As we endeavor to work for the betterment of the city and her residents, please keep us in mind. In this we pray. Amen.
Our first item of business will be special presentations, with the first one being a presentation of certificate of recognition for Spotlight Cast and Crew.
This presentation will be done by Councilmember Elizabeth Beck.
I think we've got a couple members of the crew joining us. Where are we? Oh, come on up. This is your time to shine. All right, so today with us we have the Spotlight Cast and Crew, and they provide an educational musical theater experience that is produced, directed, choreographed, designed, which includes lighting and sound. So Ms. Bivens would really appreciate if y'all could come design her lighting and sound, so we look good on camera. So we'll have you come back. For students 8th to 12th grade in the greater Fort Worth area. And what's really special about this is that it's free of charge. And so thank you all so much for coming here today. And I know after this we get a little special performance, so I think we're all looking forward to that. So here we go. The mission of the Spotlight Cast and Crew is to, oh, I just read that part. We'll skip it. In the summer of 2021, while masked and socially distanced, rehearsals continued, and 25 high school artists from 8 schools performed a chorus line at Casa Manana. The organization raised $39,000 to cover the cost. In 2022, 33 high school students from 16 schools in the greater Fort Worth area produced and performed Legally Blonde with the mentorship of 5 college artists. They raised $31,500 to cover those costs. Spotlight, yeah. Spotlight Cast and Crew is the only educational theatrical opportunity that is tuition-free, completely student-driven, and open to all high school students in the greater Fort Worth area. Spotlight Cast and Crew is an equal opportunity organization and provides opportunities to students regardless of race, ethnicity, religious beliefs, socioeconomic status, gender, or sexual orientation. This certificate is presented to Spotlight Cast and Crew in recognition of your commitment to providing opportunities to students in the community. Thank you all so much. All right. Just a little bit. All right, good luck.
The next presentation will be...
Is everybody here? Is everybody ready? Hit it! I don't care about expensive things, cashmere coats, diamond rings, don't mean a thing. All I care about is love, that's what I'm here for. I don't care for wearing silk cravats, ruby studs, satin spats, don't mean a thing. All I care about is love. Give me two eyes of blue, softly saying, let me see her standing there, and honest mister, I'm a millionaire. I don't care for any fine attire, Vanderbilt might admire. No, no, not me. All I care about is love. It may sound odd, but all I care about is love. Honest to God, all I care about is love. Show me long raven hair flowing down about to there. Let me see her running free, and keep your money, that's enough for me. I don't care for driving Packard cars or smoking long buck cigars. No, no, not me. All I care about is doing the guy in who's picking on you, who's twisting the wrist, that's turning the screw. All I care about is love.
Need to stay when we have a few zoning cases in a minute. And people do not care about love during the zoning cases. All jokes aside, Elizabeth, thank you for bringing them. They were amazing. One more round of applause for those amazing students.
Our next presentation will be a presentation of recognition for the Next Level Cosmetology Camp.
And Councilmember Chris Nettles will be presenting this recognition.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll talk for a moment from the dais before we ask them to come up. This is a group of young women who are aspiring to be entrepreneurs and learn how to do hair. And I want to first thank Miss Cece Shakina Watkins, if you would just stand, who we have worked in partnership. To make this all possible, and I'm going to have her to come up. But this year is really special. Now, there is somewhat type of age group, but, you know, when you're in partnership, and I guess you're the councilman, you get a little special treatment. So she allowed my 6-year-old daughter to participate in the class. So, Christiana, stand up. So, somebody's messing with my mic. Is it you? Okay. So, Cece, if you would come up and we do have some of the girls that's going to speak and talk about what they're doing, but if you can kind of introduce, I would say we started this last year in District 8 on the east side, and it kind of expanded and people wanted to be a part of it, and then we worked with, I believe, Michael Crane with LVT Rise and had during the school year.
Yes.
And now we're in Brewer High School, who basically donated their facilities to have these girls operate and do this class. So we are working in partnership all over the city of Fort Worth. We have people who are traveling from Grand Prairie and Dallas to come to Fort
Yes,
Worth to
several.
participate in this
Yes.
class, this summer camp.
Yes.
So we're doing phenomenal. Go tell us a little bit more about
Okay,
it.
so we're gonna start off with this to warm everybody up. Ladies, are y'all ready? We got beauty. We got brains. We know business. Next level Cosmo Camp. We up. And we stay up. Okay. So I'll tell you a quick little bit about me. I am Cece the Great, celebrity hairstylist, makeup artist, salon owner. I made history as the first professor of cosmetology for Tarrant County College, where I built their program. I am a two-time #1 international best-selling author in self-help, codependency, and motivation in the largest bookstore on the planet, Amazon. And now I bring to you Next Level Cosmetology for Kids. What is so amazing about this program is not only do we teach them hairstyling, braiding, nails, makeup, we teach them financial literacy, because you can't be an entrepreneur if you don't know how to use your money. We teach them mental health. It is important. Our children are going through a lot along with the adults. We teach them self-awareness, hygiene, and self-esteem. We work on team building. We bring in the best of the best to speak to my girls. There is not a program out there like it. I'm very proud of these ladies. I would like to thank Michael Crane, because he did bring us to Las Vegas Trail Rise, where we were able to scholarship 20 students who came for free during the fall. Clap it up for that. I would also like to thank Councilwoman Beck. We had our first fundraiser where we actually asked people for money. It was hard, but we had to do it. But thank you for sitting in and giving your wisdom and advice at our Big Hat Boss Brunch. And I would also like to thank my partner, Councilman Nettles, because he is not just out here looking good, but he is making stuff happen. He has donated a countless amount of dollars, sponsorships, his time. We be out here hitting the pavement. We don't care what your financial or economic, social status is. Your parents can be millionaires or on the way to becoming some. We are here to help empower the future leaders of America. Today, we just turned 1 year old on June 13th. And we have helped 180 children. We were just on Good Morning Texas about 3 weeks ago, and some of our girls were able to come on. I give my girls opportunities that some adults never even get to smell. And so with that being said, we're gonna go quick, but I invited 7 of my girls to speak. They got 3 to 5 sentences. They're gonna go quick, because I know y'all got a lot to do. Okay? So ladies.
And why don't you have all the girls come up?
Yeah, come
so
on,
that
Nelly.
and also while we're doing it, we want to take and thank. We have some sponsors and some of the parents. If the parents are
Yes.
here, could you kind of stand and wave your
Parents and
hand?
chaperones, please stand
The
with
chaperones
me. Let's clap
that
it
are
up
here
for
with
them.
us. Thank you.
We got over 60 girls this summer, and we got a lot of parents. We have a big hair show coming up on July the 23rd. I invite all of you to come. It's amazing.
Come on, girls. All y'all can come
Let's
up.
go. Oh, all the girls can come up, but the speakers come up here. We're going to make it quick and to the point. Y'all got this. Y'all hear me? Okay, come on, Naya first. Do it.
Yes. I just wanted to thank Miss Cece for giving me the opportunity to speak at Good Morning Texas, and for all the other things she teaches me, how I'm bettering my makeup and my hair skills and everything, and how this camp has empowered me.
Good job. Y'all clap it up for her.
Good morning, City Councilman. I am Harley Watkins, and my mother is Cece the Great. The founder of Next Level Cosmetology Camp for Kids. Since my mom has started camp, I learned to be an sister, even though I am an only child. I learned what friendship and teamwork is about. I'm excited to be a part of my mother's legacy and what she is teaching us to be future leaders. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Faith Calhoun, and I have attended cosmetology camp now for the 2nd year in a row. And what I love most about it is it teaches me how to be a young entrepreneur at my young age. It allows me to be surrounded by other kids who are like-minded and want to start their businesses. Doing hair helps boost others' confidence in themselves, but it also teaches me how to keep my personal hygiene, my hair, my makeup, and my nails done, but also make a living as well. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. This is what I love about cosmetology camp.
Down for.
My name is Nellie Stanley, and I like cosmetology because I love to do hair and makeup and to make people feel beautiful and confident. What I've learned in cosmetology is braiding better and to add weave and crochet into my braids. How I like my instructors, Miss Cece is really energetic and helpful, and Nana is sweet and helpful and both the best.
Hello, my name is Kalia Miles Austin. I've learned so much while going to Cosmic Camp. How to be a boss, a leader, not a follower, dream big, start young, and most importantly, love people for who they are and treat others for how they want to be treated. I have been inspired to keep grinding, never give up, and never say you can't do something because you can do everything you put your mind to. Camp has been such a good experience, stepping out of my comfort zone, meeting new people, trying new things, and hearing different and amazing life stories. Also, having amazing people to look up to. I can't wait to continue my career as a hairstylist, making people look good, be happy, and comfortable in their own skin. It has been a pleasure to have Miss Cece the Great as my teacher. She is an amazing person.
Hello, my name is Peyton Lucas. Next Level Cosmetology Camp has meant so much to me. It has taught me many things like how to be a successful person and businesswoman and a better version of myself. I would like to thank Miss Cece for giving me this opportunity to come to camp with her.
Awesome.
Good morning, my name is Natalia. Cosmetology has been an amazing way to open up one's creativity and has provided an outlet for my love of aesthetics. Cece is such an amazing person who has guided many girls to see what they can accomplish, including me. Not only is the program teaching us the basics of a variety of skill sets within the beauty industry, but it is empowering us to be a successful businesswoman with its approach to financial literacy. Up until this program, I wasn't fully convinced that cosmetology would be the right fit for me, but after this opportunity, I can honestly see myself making cosmetology a career. This 5-week program has laid a foundation for me that I will be able to build a future on. Finally, I want to give a big thank you to all the people involved in making this program a success, especially Nana for being my biggest cheerleader. Se lo agradezco mucho, Nana.
Y'all want to do it? No, you don't have to. Go ahead.
I'm Kay Pollard. Cosmetology, a noun, the professional skill of practice or of beautifying the face, hair, and skin. I didn't come here to read from the dictionary. I came here to talk about what cosmetology means to me. Cosmetology, an escape, a hobby, a way of living. Last year in my creative writing class, I was asked, Kay, what do you want to go to college for? I didn't know. I hadn't thought that far ahead. I did not care. I was given the assignment to figure that out. I looked into different professions, forensics, criminology, law school, and more. When I saw the word cosmetology, I froze. What is this? I've never heard of this before. I looked into it more and spent an hour exploring the vast world of cosmetology. I figured out what I wanted to do, what I wanted to pursue, who I wanted to be, and why I wanted to be it. I am Kay Pollard, an aspiring cosmetologist, actor, artist, and content creator. I want to pursue cosmetology to put a smile on people's faces, a nice feeling in their heart, and confidence in their demeanor. Cece the Great. Where do I begin? The moment I stepped into Next Level Cosmetology Camp for Kids, I was greeted with excitement, a hug, and a smile. I felt welcome, something I usually don't feel immediately in new places. Cece created that environment for me, people like me, and people not like me. She has created this diverse community of kindness and positivity. I admire that a lot. There are many words that can describe her, but one sticks out. Great, because she's the one and only Cece the Great. Thank you, Cece, for making me feel welcome, and Nana for making me laugh. I love you all, sisters and teachers included.
Okay, we're gonna come down and take photos.
Okay, and let me just say this. I did not help them with their speeches, so I'm over here torn up, okay? I look ugly when I cry. Let's do our chant again so everybody can learn it while the council people come take pictures with us. We got beauty. We got brain. We know business. Next Level Cosmo Camp. We up. Stay up. Let's get our pictures going. Face this way. Face that way. The camera's that way for you. The camera's that way. Our shorter ladies are in the front. Thank you, Sally. Faith on the front.
Our next special presentation will be a presentation of recognition for the Community Fireworks and Street Racing Committee.
That would be Mayor Pro Tem Gina Bivens.
Good morning. I'd like for the two chiefs in the house to come to the microphone. We have a fire chief and a police chief. I'm excited because I picked out my hairstyle. I'm serious, I think I'm kidding. I'm in such a good mood now, I really didn't want to be happy when I did. I want to be intimidating. Every 4th of July, we have calls from senior citizens, from just people, period, because they get frightened like me when they hear all these fireworks. And so for about a year, a group of people from District 5 have been meeting to talk about fireworks. I'd like for them to stand. Thank you all. And you all should applaud them because you heard fewer fireworks last year. I see neighborhood presidents, neighborhood board members. Thank you all for being here. And Cindy, even though you're now in Jeanette's district, you're still in the family. So chiefs, talk about fire safety, fireworks, what people need to do, and how you would like to see them observe this 4th of July that we're going to see pretty soon.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Bivens. And first, I would like to thank one member of the group who's not here, who's Commander Monica Martin, who was a very involved participant in that group, who has another community commitment today and wasn't able to make it, but she sends her regrets.
Okay.
This is an issue we deal with every year, as you well know. What we want to make sure is our citizens are safe, they feel safe, and that people are able to legally enjoy the 4th of July. We've seen issues with injuries and with fires that I'll let my friend here, Chief Jim Davis, talk more about. But I'd like to let you know a little bit about what we're planning to do this year to try to deal with the issue. We have all the commanders in the areas working on special details for officers, in addition to those that respond to calls already, to be able to come in to specifically deal with fireworks-related issues. Commander Martin, for instance, will have 20 officers just dedicated to her division to deal with firework issues. We're also going to be partnering again with our friends over at the Fort Worth Fire Department, thanks to Chief Jim Davis, where we will have an arson investigator from the Fort Worth Fire Department and an officer from the Fort Worth Police Department who ride together, again, to deal specifically with fireworks-related issues. Depending on which day it is, we'll have up to 14 of those with 2 in each division, including 2 roving units on top of that, and a command vehicle will be in the area as well. The fire department's also providing a couple of trucks to be able to take the fireworks that are seized so they can be destroyed properly. And what they want people to know is just because they may not see a police car, just because they may not see a fire truck, does not mean they're not being watched. We have a lot of citizens that call in routinely to give us details about issues. In addition, we will also have an undercover element this year so someone can actually get eyes on the situation, maybe determine who is actually shooting off the fireworks, so action can be taken then by our uniformed elements. We hope this will do a lot to make people feel safe and make sure people actually are safe.
Thank you, Chief.
So, good morning. And while I appreciate the great work that we have in partnership with the police department, the chief is right. Every year there are several injuries that occur from the use of fireworks in the city. There are a couple different types of fires that we experience. Mainly those are grass and brush related. The goal is to try to keep them from extending to structures. So we will be responding to those, obviously. We try to prioritize our requests because I think the chief would agree that we do not have the resources to send to every response that occurs or every request for service related to fireworks and the noise complaints from those. So we have to prioritize those requests based on 3 different things. First of all, the issues that cause fires related to the illegal use of fireworks, to injuries related to the use of fireworks. Those are immediately responded to and then treated, transported with the assistance of MedStar, and then they are investigated and they are managed as appropriately. Then in addition to that, we also respond to cluster areas using the teams that the chief has spoken to about. The Emergency Operations Center will be operational. and they will be monitoring the weather conditions. We are in constant communication with Tarrant County. I will tell you that as of this morning, there are 103 permitted fireworks stands in the unincorporated areas of Tarrant County. There are several that people don't even realize are Tarrant County areas. They think, well, it's here in Fort Worth. We had conversation this morning about the idea of trying to make notification to those 103 permitted sites that it's their responsibility to make sure that they're selling to people who understand that it's illegal to use them within the city limits. We've been doing messaging with media. There's been billboards. These have been going on since the 1st of June, and they will continue through the holiday weekend. Happy to answer any other questions.
Thank you, Chief.
I want to thank you both for being here. I want to thank the citizens from District 5 for pulling this citizens group together. And I encourage every district, if you have people who are concerned about fireworks safety, you can start your own team. These are great resources. But whatever you do, think about old people. We don't want to hear a whole bunch of bombs going off right in our front yards. And this year, I hope I don't have to wet down my yard with my sprinkler system because the education is getting out there. Chiefs, thank you for making this announcement, and thank you all for working like you do. Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank y'all very much.
Next item will be presentation of certificate of recognition for the TNS Cougars.
Councilmember Williams.
Mayor, and good morning, everyone. I'm really honored to be able to recognize a group of young men and their coaches and families who accomplished something very special, and they're from Fort Worth. The TNS Cougars, our football team here in Fort Worth, and last season they won the national championship, the American Youth Football National Championship. Yeah. And they didn't just win, they won convincingly 41-27. So they were national champions for sure. The special thing about this story is going into last season, they weren't sure how far they would go. They lost a number of players due to aging into the next age group, but yet they still believed. And any chance I have young kiddos in front of me, I always share a poem that I'm constantly reminding myself of, and I'll do that before coming down with Coach Zimmy and the team. The poem reads as this: if you think you're beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win but think you can't, it's almost a cinch you won't. If you think you'll lose, you've lost. For out in the world we find, success begins with a fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you're outclassed, you are. You got to think high to rise. You got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Life's battles always go to the stronger or faster man, but sooner or later, the one who wins is the one who thinks he can. And they certainly exemplified that. And I want to encourage each of you young men to not only believe in yourself on the football field, but also in the classroom and in life. Our community needs you, and there's a special gift that's inside of you. And so keep honing in on those skills and those gifts and make a difference in our community. We definitely are proud of you, love you, and are in full support of all that you're doing for our community. And with that, Coach Zimmy, if you bring the young men down, I'd love to present this recognition to you. So this recognition hereby recognizes the TNS Cougars football team, an acknowledgement of their outstanding achievements on and off the field. As a result of their hard work and perseverance, they won the American Youth Football National Championship. This is a remarkable achievement, and it showcases their excellent performance and unwavering commitment and resilience to success. We are incredibly proud and celebrate the Cougars' remarkable success, skills, passion, and spirit. We wish you all much success in the upcoming season. And please, please, please bring home another national championship. He said we will, for those of you who couldn't hear it. This certificate is presented to the TNS Cougars football team in recognition of winning the 2022 American Youth Football National Championship on this 27th day of June 2023. Congratulations. Coach, would you like to say a few words?
I just want to say thank y'all, the city council, for recognizing us. Thanking my coaches, my kids, and my parents most of all, because the travel that we do it can get crazy sometimes. I've been doing this 20 years, so it's what I was put here for, to make sure that they do it the right way. So thank y'all for everything, and we appreciate y'all, and we'll be right back right here next year with getting another one of these.
The next will be a presentation of proclamation for Uterine Fibroids Awareness Month.
Barbara Jordan Leadership Institute is doing to help bring awareness to that. And when we're done, I'd like you to share a little bit about the upcoming events you have here in Fort Worth. But we have some business to do first. So, whereas uterine fibroids are the most common benign tumors in the uterus and most prevalent medical condition affecting women, with an estimated 30% of women developing a uterine fibroid by the age of 35 years of age, and 80% of women developing a uterine fibroid by 50 years of age. And whereas uterine fibroids are the single most common indication for hysterectomy, with over $3.6 billion spent annually on the medical expense of hysterectomy procedures, and with $238 million and $7.76 billion spent annually on obstetric outcomes attributed to fibroids in the United States. Uterine fibroids are estimated to cause $1.6 billion to $17.2 billion in annual lost work costs through absenteeism, short-term disability in women between 25 and 54 years of age, and a total cost to the United States of about $5.9 billion to $34.4 billion. And whereas uterine fibroids may cause significant symptoms, the pain, discomfort, stress, and other physical and emotional symptoms of living with uterine fibroids may significantly interfere with a woman's quality of life, compromise her ability to function normally, and work to care for her family, and lead to more severe health and wellness issues. And whereas the differences in the incidence rates and the magnitude of the condition of fibroids could be impacted by differences in access to use of healthcare services. And whereas the City of Fort Worth encourages awareness and education about this condition to increase knowledge of uterine fibroids and encourage all early diagnosis, more research, better treatment options, and eventually a cure for fibroids. Now, therefore, the City of Fort Worth does hereby proclaim July 2023 as Uterine Fibroid Awareness Month. Thank you. And after they speak, I'd like to invite all the folks on the dais with uterus to come on down and take a photo with us.
We're taking the picture?
Yeah, go ahead and take it.
Okay, people.
Yeah, and then you can speak. What's the qualifier to be here? A uterus. Yeah. All right, take it away, Lauren. Thank you. Congratulations, y'all.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman Beck and the City of Fort Worth. As a proud resident, born and raised of Fort Worth, my council member, Mr. Jared Williams. Just like to thank y'all for this proclamation. This was initially started in the legislative session of 2021. Our organization worked with community members, providers to get this passed to establish July as Fibroid Awareness Month for the state of Texas. And it has been going on for the past 2 years, and we are actually bringing awareness throughout the month, as well as providing self-care fairs in 5 cities this year. Last year, we did 3, which one was Fort Worth, Dallas, and last year was Beaumont. This year, we are continuing with these 3 cities of Fort Worth, Dallas, and Beaumont, and including the Piney Woods of East Texas, which is Tyler and Longview, as well as Houston. And so this year for Fort Worth event, it will be July 15th from 10 to 2 o'clock p.m. at CMH Event Center, where we will host it and we will pass it around to the councilwoman and to other members to promote to their constituents to get learning about what's going on with fibroid awareness, get some screening, as well as this fun self-care, beauty products, candles, and family fun to enjoy, the rest of life, what we have, what this health condition can bring that little spark of joy. So thank you.
Just want to add, more information can be found at txfam.org. That's txfam.org. Last year, we touched over 35,000 people. We hope to broaden our outreach this year. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Next will be items to be withdrawn from the consent agenda.
Thank you. We have 4 items to withdraw from the consent agenda. Those are MNC 23-0573, MNC 23-0594, MNC 23-0610, and the 4th one is MNC 23-0516.
Items to be continued or withdrawn by staff.
And there are no items to be continued or withdrawn.
Next will be the consent speakers, and Mayor, we have 2.
Thank you, Jeanette. Our first speaker on the consent agenda is Bob Willoughby, followed by Donnell Ballard. Bob Willoughby, our first speaker, followed by Donnell Ballard.
Hello there, folks. And this is about the donation, isn't it? Seeing how y'all kind of messed everything up this agenda when you don't put us in sync, it's hard to tell what's going on. But anyway, the $75,000, I shouldn't have looked that up there. Donation, anonymous donation to a community center. Well, it's nice that people give money, but it's a shame to think that some people have enough money to give $75,000 out for a community center and won't spend. They would give me $75,000 to help get our freedom of speech back at City Council. We're not allowed to speak tonight anymore. We used to be on this agenda here. Those kids won't be able to speak. We don't do it anymore. Maybe you don't care. Maybe because you didn't exercise it. But anyway, $75,000 to that is not as important as freedom of speech. That's what Martin Luther King lost his life over, okay? It's not a joke. It's real. It's serious. I've been there for 13 years. I see the whole picture. And the people who don't use it don't care. But anyway, you know what you ought to do, at least for that $75,000, though? Have you ever thought about putting in marquees at the community center? You know, concert halls have marquees that tell you what's going on there. You know, the mayor meetings are the most public secret meetings there are. There's no signage up. If you had a marquee in front of the community center, it says the mayor's speaking tonight, people in the neighborhood see that. And you know what? You wouldn't just have your establishment there, because the only people they want around them are the ones that don't go against them. If you speak against them, you're banished. But anyway, we need marquees, okay? We need marquees is what we need. Is there a bell? Did I run out of time? Did you not use the bell on me or what?
You keep going, Bob. You got 1 minute and 7 seconds.
Oh, there's 1:06. Okay. You did that once on me. You didn't pull the bell on me and you caught me off guard. That's the childish things they do. Unbelievable. How's it going? Oh, okay. But anyway, yeah. See, churches have nice marquees to tell you what's going on. But see, council and mayor They just had a public meeting. I mean, not council, but Gina Bibbins and Maddie Parker had a meeting, a community meeting. And you know what? What's missing on this paper? They don't speak. We need to teach kids in school, people that don't answer questions you can't trust. People you can't answer questions. That's why you don't have marquees.
Bob, Adrian, you can't speak from the audience. Adrian, you can't speak from the audience. Bob, just finish your 30 seconds. You got 23 seconds.
Okay, I'm sorry, I get confused. If someone,
I don't know what topic we're on today. I'm very
let me know
confused.
let me know who's complaining so I can respond, okay? I can see what's going on. I just don't know what you're doing, okay? Okay. Anyway, I got 15 seconds left, and I'll get to speak on another thing anyway in a little bit. But anyway, we need marquees. We really need our right back, freedom of speech. Believe me, you can't lose that. That's crazy. That's crazy to lose that. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Donnell Ballard.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Donnell Ballard, the founder of United My Justice. Yes, I am glad that you guys got this $75,000. But the bottom line is, the residents of Fort Worth do not feel safe. The residents are concerned about the gun violence that's going on in our community. We need every city council that's here today to focus on trying to make sure that our youth are safe in this community with all the gun violence that's going on. So this $75,000 needs to go towards trying to help make sure we get safety for our youth and for the, not only for the kids, but for the community, because the community do not feel safe in this city. And what I'm saying today is that the city council, the mayor, and Mayor Parker, before you take that job as the director, you need to focus on what is going on in the city. I have never got upset, but I am upset because we are in the first week of summer, and we the chief have not talked about it. The chief did say he was frustrated, but I have not heard the mayor say anything about the gun violence that's going on. I have not seen none of the city council talk about the gun violence, and you wonder why the community is upset and outraged. We are upset, and we are in the summertime, and you guys need to also focus on the audit. All this money that's going around here, ain't nobody talking about public safety. This is a state of emergency, and I heard every last one of y'all talk about that the crime is down 18%. I don't believe the crime is down 18%. I want to see the city of Fort Worth do a better job in doing what they're doing. That's what I want to see.
Council, Donnell, you can't scream from the audience. Marshals, he needs to be removed. I'm so sorry. He can't disrupt the meeting. Thank you, Mr. Ballard. You have to leave. I'm sorry. Council, that's the end of our speakers on the consent agenda. I've got a motion and a second. Any other discussion, Council?
Yes.
Please.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you,
Dr.
Mayor.
Williams.
I was hoping that Donnell would stay in here, but since he isn't, hopefully some folks in here can share the message. He's certainly right that one life lost, especially with our kiddos, is one too many. And this council has made a huge commitment to working with our city staff through CCPD, through our Fort Worth Police Department and other city departments to address the issue of youth participating in gun violence. And this council, I'm really proud, also invested $6 million in federal ARPA funding to establish the 1 Second Collaborative, which is a interdisciplinary collaborative specifically designed to address and prevent youth gun violence across Tarrant County. And United Way is the steering committee. They recently just made grants for community-based organizations that are specifically doing the work on the ground of addressing youth gun violence where it counts in priority zip codes. And so that announcement will be coming soon, but I'm super proud of this council's work. I see a number of the steering committee members in here. The steering committee for this collaborative is represented by community organizations as well as the city and county. And so I couldn't be more proud of what we've done to address such important issue. And I wanted to clarify the record because we do have so many kiddos here, and I want them to know that we care about y'all, and we also need your help in addressing this issue. So know that the City Council is super committed to making investments to ensure that you're safe and that you grow and thrive. So with that, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Well said, Councilmember Williams. There are thousands of people in this community focused on fighting violent crime in Fort Worth, and they don't need a moment in the spotlight to yell and scream. They're doing the work across the city of Fort Worth. And with that, we're incredibly proud of each and everybody, of course, to United Way for leading that effort, and to our police department. But to Jared's point, there are people in the trenches doing this every single day, and we're incredibly grateful for their commitment, especially to our youth, to keep them safe. And I wish Mr. Ballard had been willing to listen rather than yell and scream, but that's typical of him, unfortunately. Councilmember Bivens.
Wanted to make some comments because of the way Mr. Ballard talked about caring about you all. I don't know if you're on Facebook, but if you go to my Facebook page, you'll see news about a Zoom call tomorrow at 4:30, and it's talking about the 1 Second Collaborative. We're working with the city, the county, and United Way to figure out ways how to make everybody safe. And so again, if you look at my Facebook page, it's Gina Bivens, Gyna. Sign up to be a part of that Zoom. You too can join in and watch that Zoom so you'll know firsthand what we're doing to bring about gun safety. And also, crime is going down. What happens is when it's in your neighborhood, you feel like it's worse than ever before. But crime is down, but we are doing things. And so 4:30 tomorrow, there is a Zoom call. You can look at my Facebook page or the United Way homepage to see more how to register. And I hope you will participate, because the more ideas we get from you, the better we can be, especially the ideas from young people. And so that's what I wanted to share. We're all on the same wavelength.
Thank you, Per Tim. Councilmember Nettles.
Thank you, Mayor. I do want to give some context to what Bob talked about, as well as Donnell. They talked about this $75,000. This $75,000 that is being donated is in District 8, and it's in Highland Hills. When I approached this council and got elected, Highland Hills met with me and said, the industrial buildings came several years ago, and they promised that they was going to support our parks and our recs and our communities, but no one has done anything about it. So I started having meetings. I called the mayor and I said, Mayor, Highland Hills is upset about this industrial building being built close to their homes, and they promised Highland Hills money. And so the mayor and I worked together, and we did a tour around with the chief of police and the parks and recs, and we figured out what Highland Hills needed. And we worked with that individual who promised, and actually the individual who promised it was long gone from the organization, was no longer with the organization. But because of the leadership from Mayor and my leadership, we was able to get $75,000 donated to Highland Hills community from that donor. Then we took another step farther. I said, David Cook, I know that Highland Hills is not on the bond package to be redone or rehab, but is there any way, since we have private dollars donating to Highland Hills, can the city match those dollars? We worked and got $75,000 additional matched. I want to make sure that it is very clear that this $75 is wasn't just given randomly just to this community, but it was given for a purpose, and this purpose is going to enhance the lives of a community. And so I'm grateful that we get to vote on this, and so I wanted to make sure that you're aware that this $75,000 doesn't have nothing to do with gun violence or anything to do with giving you the right to speak. It had to do with making things that was wrong right. So thank you.
Yeah, well said, Chris. And I think Chris and I should thank Tanisha Brewer Jones on my staff, and Sally on his team, and Jazz. Thank you all for working with the neighborhood. Kind of unsung heroes sometimes for the hard work that happens in our offices, for sure. I think we've got a motion on the second from Councilman Larsdorf. Any other discussion, council? Please vote. And motion carries.
Next item will be MNC 230516.
This is the one that we just talked about, so motion to approve.
Motion and a second, please vote.
Thank you. Congratulations, Highland Hills. Thank you, staff.
Motion carries.
Next item is MNC 230573.
Okay, entertain a motion, Councilmember Crane.
Thanks, Mayor. I just wanted to, I pulled this off consent to make sure. I want to thank Property Management, Steve Cook, and your team. This is for the new Fire Station 16, which sits at the corner of Bryant Irvin. The current one sits at the corner of Bryant Irvin and Geddes in Como. It needs to be redone, and I'm glad this is part of the 2022 bond and that we've identified some property still located there in Como, right there on the corner where the old Edmondson's Fried Chicken is. That needs to be redone as the whole, we have a Horn Street initiative. That's in proximity to a TechStop program right there at Horn and Camp Bowie. It will make a gateway into Lake Como, and I'm very proud that we were able to get to an agreement with the property owners and acquire this property. It's going to be a beautiful fire station that will service that area, so I'm very proud of that. And with that, I make a motion to approve.
Motion and a second. Councilmember Williams.
I was going to be the second, but I'll defer to Mayor Pro Tem. I just want to, on the record, thank Councilman Crane for all of his hard work. I'm really excited about this, and it wouldn't have been done without his office, so thank you for what you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Got a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is MNC 230610.
Councilmember Nettles.
Thank you, Mayor. I did pull this off the agenda to just give some acknowledge to what's happening on the in the south side on the historical at Vickery Boulevard. I think I saw Roger Miles. He's still here. He may have stepped out. And we have Stacy Marshall that's here. The Alpha group the fraternity is purchasing this foreclosed property. And what I like about this old Vickery School is that it is an old school that has not been in use for many, many years. If you drive by on Vickery in the historical south side, you see a building that just looks like trash. But this group has a vision for this south side. And what I'm so grateful for, because we don't have a lot of people investing into this area and to the 76104, so I think they're here. Roger, why don't y'all come down real quick and just briefly, and those that are with you, I appreciate, I'm sorry, I didn't even see you, good to see you, and Stacy, all that's working together to make all this happen. Just real brief, let us know what's getting ready to, happen here at this property.
First of all, I want to evoke the name of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. It's because of him we are here and we stand before you today, hoping to make Fort Worth just a little bit, no, a lot better. The Vickery School is on the corner of a neighborhood where our fraternity, or the chapter of our fraternity here in Fort Worth was founded. They could not go to that school. But today we stand before you with a pledge to rebuild that edifice into something that's going to make everybody here proud. A place where we can have programs for these young kids. That Spotlight group that came, we want a theater group in there. And then it's also going to be an economic incubator for entrepreneurs who want to come in and start their own businesses. We're going to do something great in Fort Worth. I pledge that to you today.
Thank you so much. We're grateful for your brotherhood and investing in our community. So I just wanted to give you your kudos and make sure that we recognize your support. Thank you, Stacy Marshall with Southeast Inc. for working with them as well. And so with that, Mayor, I want to motion to approve.
I've got a motion and a second. Councilmember Williams.
2 in a row, golly. I guess I'm slow to it. I just want to, acknowledge this organization, the Livingston Community Development Foundation. It's named after Russell Livingston, who is no longer with us and is with the Lord. And while he was here with us, I was personally inspired by just his life of faith and his commitment to investing in our community. He did it without ever having to be asked. And he always selflessly offered himself up in service to our young folks and our community. And so I think this is a fitting opportunity to continue that legacy. And I'm proud of the Livingston Community Development Foundation for all the work that you all have done. And it wouldn't be possible without you brothers and so many more. And so thank you all so much for what y'all are doing, and look forward to joining y'all for the ribbon cutting. 06.
Got a motion and a second. Council, any other discussion? Congratulations, gentlemen. Thank you. Go ahead, Gina.
I just want to let you guys know Russell was my big brother on the campus of North Texas State. Most people know how close we were. And I didn't want to mention that because it always brings tears. He was taken too soon. But I wanted to speak because my new district director, Josh, is a man of Alpha Phi Alpha. And I'm very proud to have him there. And in case you didn't know, I just happen to be an AKA. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Council, please vote. Motion approves. Congratulations.
Next item will be MNC 23-0594.
We've got a motion and a second, but we do have a few recusals on this item.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and jump in and just say that I would like to recuse myself from discussion and voting on this item due to my employment with the Tarrant Area Food Bank. I won't be participating in this item, and I have an affidavit filed formally with the city secretary noting all of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Jared. Councilmember Beck.
Yeah, I'm recusing myself from this item due to my participation in the Clayton Yes Board.
Thank you. Councilmember Crane? No? Macy? Sorry. No audio. We can't hear you. Sorry. I'm going to state for the record on behalf of Councilmember Hill that he's recusing. Okay, recusing. Macy, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Yes, I'm recusing myself due to my service at the Salvation Army Board. I will not be voting or involved in discussion.
Thank you. That's the conclusion of our discussion, Council. Any other items? Got a motion from Councilmember Bivens. Can we get a second? Thank you. Councilmember Larsdorf, please vote. Nettles is not here. Motion carries.
Next item will be upcoming and recent events, recognition of citizens, and approval of ceremonial travel if needed by council members.
Councilmember Flores is up next.
Thanks, Mayor. Go ahead to the slideshow, please. Around the city, we've been celebrating and observing the significance of Juneteenth in the far greater North Side neighborhood. They collaborated with Kirkpatrick Alumni Association to hold their annual Juneteenth celebration at Lincoln Park. We had several, community representatives there. Among the Northwest Division, you had the police commander, Commander Sparrow, sergeants, NPOs, including NPO Guerrero, who recently lost his life due to a medical condition. Community came together as it always did, and it was a wonderful celebration. And related to that, June 19th, we walked with Opal. Several of us here on council took her Juneteenth walk. We celebrated the significance of that by doing the 2.5-mile walk from Evans Plaza back to the plaza, symbolizing the news of freedom to reach Galveston, Texas back in 1865. Thank you, Fort Worth PD and Fort Worth Fire, and Opal Lee. Next slide, please. Dr. Eugene Richardson, he was one of the remaining members of the Tuskegee Airmen. And as an aviation professional, that's really near and dear to my heart. First African-American military aviators in the United States Armed Forces. He served during World War II. It was my honor to present him with a recognition on behalf of Mayor Parker and my office. He was on a brief visit from Fort Worth. He lives in Philadelphia. Didn't hold that against him, even though he is a Phillies fan. And he was here to spoke at Roll Call, which is a monthly veterans luncheon. So appreciate Dr. Richardson from coming by, and Larry O'Neill, Fort Worth Memories, Kyle Paulson also for hosting the event and making it possible. Thank you, Rick Irving, for taking the time to take some pictures. Next slide, please. All right, and the community performing arts, Artis Academy of ADLR, that's Artis de la Rosa to those that don't know, held a wonderful show and performance. There were 3 performances actually over the weekend. Proud of the kids, including mine, who participated as well there at Rosemarine Theater. It was a wonderful performance, Bigfoot performance. Next slide, please. Okay. We spoke today, at council about, the planning and concerns about fireworks across the city. One of the best ways to enjoy fireworks in a safe manner is have organizations like the Marine Creek Ranch HOA who held their annual fireworks show, and it was spectacular. They had DJs there, they had food trucks, dancing, ice cream, popsicles, SWAT, Mounted Patrol, Code Blue, you name it. They do it in great fashion, so appreciation to the Marine Creek Ranch HOA, Northwest Alliance for providing that wonderful show. And thanks again to the Fort Worth PD, Fire, and MedStar for being there on hand. Next slide, please. Yes. Oh, anyway, forgot. Just so that everyone knows, that company that organizes those fireworks is the same company that does the city fireworks. So y'all get that. Let's go ahead and move on to the next slide, please. All right. A couple of announcements. All right. July 4th is coming up. Independence Day Parade for the Northside Neighborhood Association is coming up. This is a free community event, Saturday, July 1st, starting at 9 a.m. You can contact the Northside Neighborhood Association for more details. And the Sonidos del Summer, Sounds of the Summer, is coming up again to the Marine Park there in the Northside area, 303 Northwest 20th Street. 7 p.m. to 11 p.m., we're going to have DJ Cantu spin some tunes for everybody. It's family friendly. Bring your friends, neighbors, workers, anybody you can to pull out a tent, put out a little blanket, whatever makes them comfortable, lawn chairs, and enjoy the show. That's all I have, Mayor.
Councilmember Williams.
Introduction. Actually, I just want to introduce Emily Mandel, who's over here today. Say hi, Emily. She's actually a resident of District 6, but she goes to Trinity Valley with my daughter, and she's a senior, and she's here today of just observing what we do and how it's done. So I just want to welcome her here today. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. This past weekend, myself and my team, Davia and Carmen, not only joined a conversation with Miss Opal Lee and Brian Stevenson for a wonderful speaker series, but all weekend long, our team participated in a number of parades and events. And so just wanted to highlight what an incredible weekend it was here in Fort Worth, celebrating our own Miss Opal Lee and also our history as a city and a country. So thank you all who participate in those events in support of the amazing history that we have as a city and country. And I think that's the last slide, but please move on. Okay, great. That's it.
Councilmember Nettles.
Thank you. We had a media day at Hustle Blend Coffee where they gave out free coffee, and we had, I believe it was, I forgot what channel it was. Channel 5? Okay. We had Channel 5 that was there. So we had a great, wonderful time. It was early in the morning. Those that know that I'm not a morning person, I think I had to be there at like 6 o'clock in the morning. So I don't know how I made it. Oh, yeah. So next slide, please.
You drank that coffee. That's
I drank that coffee. Well-Med ribbon cutting. It's a new medical office that's in, I believe it's actually in District 11 now, but it was formerly in District 8. And so we had an opportunity to welcome them on the Rosedale Quarter. Next slide. We had the Solar Sycamore Parade. It was extremely hot that day. Next slide, please. The Opalee Walk was the next day, Opalee Freedom Walk. Have a couple of slides here. It was a beautiful walk in District 8, and so it was a great route. Next slide. And so we had a good opportunity just to meet and greet all of those that were on the line. Look at those calf muscles there. Yeah, I rushed them. Yeah, I'm telling you, I've been working out. Next slide, please. I'm getting ready for kickball. Yeah. District 8 Health Fair, Chief Police came out and gave a real good talk to us. We had Dr. Jackson also. It was a great event. We had several people come from the community. We had a lot of vendors there. So we are grateful for Ms. Tammy Pierce helping us with United Black Contractors make that all possible. Next slide. Some more pictures. We did a hip hop aerobics dance. Trinity Pride Fest was there with Elizabeth Beck and Jeanette Martinez to support our community. It was a great event. It was hot as well. Next slide. Talking about the fireworks, you got that. We heard from our chiefs today. And I wasn't here, and I don't think, is she over there? Oh, she's over there. I wasn't here last Tuesday, so I want to formally welcome our new council member, Jeanette Martinez. Thank you for coming on to this dais. We are looking forward to working with you. And I tell you, when we worked on those maps many years ago, we worked hard to make sure that this was all possible. So glad you're welcome. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, I will be brief, Councilman Nettles. Before I get started on my slides, I said I'd be brief, I lied. I want to take a minute to, this is not on the presentation, but I'm going to embarrass her. But Deputy Marshal Wendy Ayers received an award this past weekend from the White Settlement Police Department, their Community Partner of the Year. So I just want to make sure we recognize her and give her a big round of applause. All right. We attended a couple of community meetings. There's the Slayton. Next slide, please. We got to do a little story time on summertime outdoor adventure. There was a ukulele. It was not played by me, so it was played well. And it was a great event, and I appreciate the library staff putting these on and inviting us to come out and read to folks in the community. Next slide. I was happy to be in District 8 with Councilman Nettles and colleagues and Ms. Opal Lee to celebrate Juneteenth. Next slide. Big day for Fort Worth, huge day for Fort Worth and the region. We officially broke ground on the $350 million Texas A&M Aggie Land North expansion. I appreciate the mayor's words and her efforts to get that done. Those of you on council that have worked so hard to help facilitate this, and of course, former Mayor Betsy Price for all the work she did with Fort Worth Now that saw this come to fruition. So thanks and gig'em to everyone that participated. Next slide. It was a big cat day in Fort Worth, Texas. The Fort Worth Zoo has a new exhibit open. Our lions are back. And I would encourage you all to get out there and check out the new predator exhibit at the Fort Worth Zoo. Next slide. We had Trinity Pride Fest. It was really well attended. It was really hot, and I appreciate Councilman Nettles and Councilwoman Flores Martinez coming out and joining us, and also the Fair Mounties always make an event a lot of fun. What's not pictured here is the LGBTQ Saves Picnic, and I want to thank Chief Noakes for attending that as well. I also really want to thank the Fort Worth Police Department for providing security for that event to make sure that our children enjoying that festivities stayed safe and our families felt safe. So thank y'all very much for the extra work you put into that. Next slide. All right, we've got a meeting coming up on a construction project in the district. I encourage you all to check it out if you have questions. Next slide. Just a reminder that we have our Pride Activity Badge, and you can go to our website and complete that by August 12th, and that is it. Thank you.
If y'all can pull up my slides. So this past Tuesday, I attended the grand opening of North Texas Expressway I-35 Alliance Connector. It was a really great day. I spoke. I wanted to thank everyone who made this vision a reality. And that's Ferrovial, Weber, and Centra, the companies that did the construction. North Tarrant Express, Texas Department of Transportation, Hillwood Development, North Central Texas Council of Governments, Texpress Lanes, Tarrant County, and the City of Fort Worth for all of the hours of work they put in. Next slide. So I'm just really thrilled to see this facilitate faster, safer travel between Alliance and downtown Fort Worth, both of which are significant economic engines for our city. Next slide. It was a huge crowd. Came together to celebrate the conclusion. You may recognize the Master of Ceremonies, our former Mayor, Betsy Price. Next slide. There's some candid shots of some of the key players. I want to give a special thanks to North Fort Worth Alliance President Rusty Fuller and City of Fort Worth TPW Communications Specialist Laura Ingram for their commitment and representation and discussion with the community on this important project. Next slide. A big shout out to Fort Worth police officers Chris Farnaha and Eduardo Gasca, who led the public procession down the new express lanes. And then next slide. There's the ribbon cutting ceremony to get this show on the road. Next slide. That's it.
Council, I think that's the conclusion of our presentations. Am I right? No one else has anything? Okay. Jeanette, back to you.
Next will be.
Actually, I'm pausing. I'm going to call on Dana Bergdorf for just a second because we have a very valuable city staff member who is leaving the city of Fort Worth, and it would not be appropriate if we don't recognize Steve Cook today. Dana, you're up.
Thank you so much, Mayor and Council, for the time. Since we didn't have a work session coming up timely, I appreciate this opportunity, and thank you to David Cook for the suggestion. So just want to take a couple minutes to recognize Steve Cook, Property Management Director. Sadly for us, Steve has been recruited by and has accepted a position with the private sector. Steve joined Fort Worth in 2015 to become our first director of the newly formed Property Management Department, where David and the team centralized responsibilities for hundreds of city buildings, all of our city real property, and city vehicles. Steve and his team have helped improve all parts of Fort Worth, from Alliance and far north to State Highway 1187 and far south, from Lake Arlington and Stop 6 to Walsh Ranch, buying land for community parks, facilities, open space, and arterials and water lines and sewer lines and so on, building fire stations, libraries, police divisions, and community centers. Steve has made all of his operations more efficient, especially fleet asset management and maintenance for thousands of vehicles. And then COVID. My goodness, all that plexiglass, all that sanitizing, taking on a 20-story Class A building with tenants expecting Class A service. And then Winter Storm Uri, 2 inches of water in the beautiful lobby of our 20-story building. Running down the escalators, and the long hours in all the frozen buildings trying to get generators to start. And then not being able to buy a vehicle to save his life. Manufacturers canceling orders, refusing new orders, but with our new purchasing director finally getting the streamlining that he's wanted for 5 years. Through all of this, Steve has brought his can-do spirit and his infectious smile. He's worked with honesty, humility, and integrity with all of his colleagues. And he's built a team of employees that he loves like family. We're going to miss you, Steve.
Steve, you're welcome to say anything if you'd like. Okay. That is pretty typical of Steve. I'll just kick things off. There are people that work in the city of Fort Worth that not the everyday citizen knows about that really keep this place moving, and Steve is absolutely one of those people. It has been a joy to work with you. I'm so mad, as Elizabeth just said, motion to deny, that you can't leave us, but we're incredibly proud for you, and you have built an amazing department and an amazing team, so thank you for your legacy you're leaving here in the city of Fort Worth. Councilmember Flores, did you have something? Your light's on, or
Yeah, just
Jared?
say, Steve, I'm going to guilt you later. Hate to see you go, but thanks for everything you've done, all right?
Anybody else?
Sure, I'll go. I had a point of information and some comments. My point of information was, can we deny with prejudice on this? But in all seriousness, Steve, thank you for your service to the city. You know, the work that you do and you and your team is often behind the scenes, but the city wouldn't run quite as well, if at all, without the hard work that your team does. So thank you and congratulations and Godspeed on the next endeavor.
Councilmember Crane.
Yeah, I'll just add to that. Thanks, Steve. When I've asked you to jump through hoops, you figure out how to jump through hoops and get things done. And that's a really great quality to have in a lot of different ways when you have to deal with crazy people like us. But I appreciate all the stuff that you've done over the years, the 6 years I've been working with you and your staff to make sure that we keep our trains running in the property management division and the other places you've had to help out during that time. So thank you very much and Godspeed in your new position.
Thank you, Councilmember Beck.
I'll accept the amendment that Councilman Williams made to that motion to deny with prejudice. Thank you so much for everything you've done, and we couldn't let you leave without talking about your most recent accomplishment. While it might not seem large to most people, I think it's a really great thing that you've done for the city. And if y'all don't know, the old gas building across the street from City Hall has the flame back, thanks to Steve Cook. So I would encourage you all to come down at night. It actually looks great during the day too, but come down at night and see that bit of history back up and operating in Fort Worth. So you can't leave, and the marshals aren't gonna. They're gonna shut the door. So have fun with that.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Council. Thank you for doing that, Dana. That's the last of our announcements, Council. I'll turn it back over to Jeanette.
Next will be speakers on the non-consent agenda items. And Mayor, I believe we have one speaker.
We do. Bob Willoughby.
Is this resolutions? Or I didn't know I signed up for this. What is this? Is this resolutions? Oh, is this the one about Jennifer being appointed to a board?
Her name is Jeanette, Councilman
Jeanette?
Martinez.
Sorry,
Yes.
Jeanette. It doesn't say it up there, does it? So you don't know what we're talking about, okay? You see what they've done to this city? Okay, that's stupid. Oh, well, I have a problem with it. See, we get a right to speak here. We got 3 minutes to speak on this, okay? So we should be able to say what we want to. The reason I don't think Jeanette should serve on this board, because Jeanette's never been to a council meeting, board meeting, bond meeting, budget meeting. Don't know anything about Jeanette. She doesn't know anything about council.
Point of order. Is this graphic allowed? It's advertised
I
on
have,
a separate website.
I have not said anything to warrant that. Hold your tongue. Lord of order, hold your tongue.
Bob,
I have 3 minutes to
You're
speak,
actually
right?
done. You're done.
I have three,
Thank
am I
you.
done?
Yes, your time's
see?
concluded. Thank you very much.
You don't have 3 minutes to speak.
Is that the last of our non-consent speakers?
It is.
Thank you.
Our next item will be 23-0336.
Move to approve.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion, Council? Please vote. Motion carries.
The next item is 23-0337.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is 23-0418.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is 23-0419.
Councilmember Beck. Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is 23-0420.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is ordinance 23-0422.
Councilmember Williams?
Yes, I'll make a motion with some comments. This is releasing the ETJ from the city of Fort Worth to Burleson. And so with that, move to approve.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is ordinance 23-0424.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is ordinance 23-0426.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is ordinance 23-0428.
I move that the residential homestead exemption from ad valorem taxes for elderly and disabled persons both be increased from $40,000 on the assessed valuation of a residence to $60,000 on the assessed valuation of a residence. That's good news for elderly like me and disabled, and that's my motion. Second.
Got a motion and a second, just to bring some clarity to this item. This is just a continuation of the City of Fort Worth's leaders to really work aggressively to reduce as much property tax burden on our residents as possible. We're also following in line. We're very proud that the Tarrant County Commissioners Court approved a 10% homestead exemption. And this is important because we're actually adopting, we already have the 20% adoption over a homestead exemption for all residents already in place. So we already have the max. So we've really asked ourselves, working along city management, what else can we do besides just reducing that tax rate? And as Councilmember Bivens already articulated, we're going to increase the exemption by $20,000 for our residents over 65 and for our disabled residents in the City of Fort Worth. We believe strongly this is the right move in the right direction. At the same time, we also know that in Austin, there's quite a bit of debate going on what property tax relief will look like. So we waited as long as we possibly could, which is why this is happening today. But unfortunately, they have not come up with a conclusion, and we thought it was important that we do something in this next tax bill for our residents. Importantly, this is not the only action your city council will take to reduce property tax burden. As a reminder, we start a really robust discussion of our city budget in August and leading into September. So we have lots of months coming back into the fall to discuss this. And again, this is a continuation of an effort to reduce the property tax rate that balances the needs of a rapidly growing city with multiple needs from infrastructure to public safety, but also understanding that our residents across Texas and importantly here in Fort Worth need property tax relief. We are all hopeful on this dais that state leaders will step up and finalize a plan, whatever it may be, especially on the school property tax rate. But in the meantime, we know that local leaders have to step up and do what we can, which is what we're doing today. I'm very proud of the dais here, of us agreeing to move forward today so quickly. I'm happy to entertain any other discussion from our fellow council members.
Yeah,
Councilmember Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. I know it's going to be a long meeting, so I'll be brief. But I'm so excited that we're doing this as a council. I think of folks like my dad, who is a retired teacher on a fixed income, and know what this will mean for folks like him. And so thank you all. This is an important first step to ensuring that our seniors and also our folks with disabilities, like our disabled veterans. And so really excited about this as a first step, and I'm looking forward to us continuing the work in September in the budget process to look at how we can continue to expand this particular exemption in the next year ahead. So thank you so much, colleagues and staff, for all that y'all did on this.
Thank you, Councilmember Williams. Any other discussion, council?
I
Go
just
ahead,
wanted to
Councilman
say,
Crane.
thank you, Mayor. I'm glad that we came to such a quick conclusion to this morning, and I know Mayor Pro Tem Bivens said, we've got to continue to take care of our most vulnerable, and that's what we're doing with this move. And I think, Mayor, just pointing out what you said, this isn't the end of the discussion. We're going into the budget season, and we'll continue to look at how we lower the property tax burden for our citizens, and I'm appreciative of that too. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion, council? Thank you. Please vote. Carries. Very good. Yeah. Very good.
Next will be public hearing 23-0417 with report by city staff Joel McAnally.
Down. Joel McElhaney.
Yes.
He's not here. Hi, Joel.
Good morning, Mayor and members of the council. I'm Joel McElhaney, Assistant Director of the Park and Recreation Department, City of Fort Worth. Purpose of this public hearing is to hear public comment on an application for a Texas Parks and Wildlife Urban Outdoor Recreation Grant in the amount of $1,500,000. This grant would be applied toward park development at Sycamore Park in Council District 8. Staff recommends hearing public comment about this grant, and upon completion of public comment, staff recommends that the City Council close the public hearing and adopt the resolution to apply for the grant, designate a city representative to act on behalf of the City of Fort Worth, and if awarded, accept the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department Urban Outdoor Recreation Grant in the amount of $1,500,000.
Thank you, Joel. Any questions for Joel? No? Councilmember Nettles.
Thank you. Move to close the public hearing and have action and to approve.
Motion and a second. Either discussion? Please vote.
Thank you, guys.
And motion carries.
Next will be public hearing for MNC 23-0561 with report by city staff Daniel Miracle.
Dan? Mr. Miracle, which I think, as I've joked before.
Mayor Parker, members of City Council, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Daniel Miracle. I'm a senior environmental specialist with the Environmental Quality Division in the Code Compliance Department. The purpose of today's public hearing is to receive comment to establish the Municipal Setting Designation, or MSD 32, for the Foundry AP FW property located near the intersections of Carroll Street and Weisenberger Street in Council District Number 9. The proposed property consists of approximately 1.373 acres and is owned by Asana Partners, LLC. The property is currently zoned I Light Industrial, J Medium Industrial, and MU1 Low Intensity Mixed Use. The chemical of concern identified in the groundwater is tetrachloroethylene, or TCE. The subject property has historically been used for various automotive repair and machining companies, which are believed to have contributed to the contamination in the groundwater, which is discontinuous, shallow, perched, and occurs at depths of approximately 16 to 25 feet below the ground surface. The affected shallow groundwater is underlain by several confining limestone layers that serve as a regional aquitard, preventing the vertical migration of the chemical of concern to underlying potable aquifers. A public meeting was held on June 8th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. at the City Hall Annex at 908 Monroe Street. A representative of the applicant and 2 city staff were present. 3 individuals from the community attended the public meeting. Questions and comments regarding MSD 32 received via telephone, email, or in person at the public meeting do not adversely impact staff's recommendation to approve this MSD. In advance of the public meeting at today's hearing, written notice was sent to property owners and municipalities within 1/2 mile of the MSD boundary and to owners and public water supply utilities with groundwater supply wells within 5 miles of the proposed MSD boundary. City staff from multiple departments have reviewed the application. No comments or concerns were made. The Environmental Quality Division is satisfied that this MSD will be protective of human health and the environment, as the ordinance would prohibit the use of designated groundwater for potable or irrigation purposes. Following any public comments, staff recommends closing the public hearing, adopting MNC 23 MSD-032 and the attached resolution and ordinance, thereby establishing CFW MSD 0032.
Any questions for Daniel? Councilmember Beck, go ahead.
Motion to close the public hearing and approve the MNC.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion, council? Please vote. Motion carries.
Next will be ZC-23-045.
And Councilmember Vivens and Councilmember Martinez now. We do have a few speakers on this item, but I'll turn to Councilmember Martinez first before we get started.
So Mayor and Council, it is my intent to continue all zoning cases in District 11 to our next city council meeting, scheduled for August 8th. And I just want to ensure that there's been sufficient notification and that I have had the opportunity to speak to all the groups involved, the requester, anybody that opposes or supports.
Thank you, Jeanette. Our first speaker on this item is Barry Hudson with Dunaway Associates, followed by Adrian Smith.
Mayor and members of the council, for the record, I'm Barry Hudson with Dunaway Associates representing the applicant. As has already been noted by the new councilwoman, we are fine with the continuance. We look forward to further conversations and for ultimately a vote on August the 8th. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Barry. Our next speaker is Adrian Smith, followed by Letitia Welborn.
Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Adrian Smith. Ms. Martinez, first and foremost, congratulations to your appointment. I stand here as a collective voice for the community, the district in which you represent. You now represent. Now, you are a mother, you are a wife, so I will not question your judgment or your leadership, but I would say that what the words I'm about to express to you, just take everything into consideration, because you are now the voice, you are now the face, and you are now the deciding factor as it relates to District 11. Industrialization of District 11, now District 11 because they chopped up our map. But the area that has been plagued with so much, and I think Ms. Letitia, she can articulate it way better than I can. So, but it has suffered long enough regarding the industrialization, over-industrialization to the area. So I would say this, Ms. Martinez, your vote is the vote when it comes to anything District 11. What I realize about the council is no one goes against another council member when it's regarding their district. So your vote is the vote. So I say this, I know you haven't taken the toxic tour yet, which I'm sure you will. You've done a great interview on Let's Talk Fort Worth. I'm sure the host is grateful that you came on, but just consider yourself, your livelihood, your family, and know that this community doesn't want this new development to come to their community. I could say something in regards to the former council member, but I would refrain from that. I give them time to go on vacation and clear their heads and come back. But Ms. Martinez, remember, a lot of them have forgotten about our livelihoods altogether. So you're the one who's going to make a difference for District 11. And people are watching, and people are anticipating that you're going to do the right thing. And I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Ms. Wilburn's our next speaker.
Good morning. Congratulations, Jeanette. And congratulations, Ms. Parker, Mayor Parker, on your new job. But I just wanted to say I am in agreement with Jeanette Martinez on the continuance. Echo Heights has suffered tremendously from the zoning. I put up a deal for the life expectancy. It shows how our lives are decreased in Echo Heights from the industrialization. Where the industry is was actually supposed to have been homes built there. Without community consent in 2000, the city decided to industrialize that area. As a result, we have people there with rare cancers. We have people there with miscarriages. We have people there who have had brain ailments, asthma. Cook's Children's Southwest Asthma Study shows that. We have so many various illnesses in this community since industrializations came along. And I think it's only fair that Ms. Martinez have the opportunity to not only examine things, but I know Mayor Parker is also interested in taking the toxic tour. So I think that y'all should take the toxic tour to get a better insight as to what the community is feeling and going through. And I will try to set you up with some of the people who have been very affected in the community. I know at the meeting with the community a couple of weeks ago, y'all met Miss Brown, who actually was a teacher at W.M. Green Elementary, and she lives in the community of Echo Heights, and all three of her daughters suffered miscarriages when the trucking company moved right behind the homes over there. So there's a lot of things going on, but you know, I just wanted to show y'all this chart. And I am in agreement with the continuance. Matter of fact, my father has cancer. He doesn't live here, but he has radiation. So this was so important for me to be here for the community that when I leave here, I'm going to his radiation treatment. But I didn't want to be here and this get approved because there was no speakers here. But we don't want any more industry, as y'all learned from the meeting in the community. And I think that Mayor Pro Tem said there's 10 lots in the community. 10 lots from a community that was supposed to have been homes that was rezoned industrial. That's lots, that's overkill. So hopefully we'll get that toxic tour done, and I am in agreement with the continuance. I think it's only fair for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wilburn. That's the conclusion of our speakers on this item. I'll take a motion to continue. Councilmember Martinez? She can make it. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. So, Letitia, thank you for coming down. And I did plan on reaching out to see if we could do the toxic tour this Saturday. So I don't know if that works with the group, but hopefully it does. So I make a motion to continue zoning case 23-045 to the next city council meeting on August 8th.
Got a motion and a second? Please vote.
Next is ZC-23-015.
We have one speaker on this item, Councilman Nettles, Ray Ojeski.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and speak. Ray has worked with the community in the neighborhood, and we're going to continue this case to August the 8th, zoning case. That's my motion.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion, council? Please vote. And motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-020.
Councilmember Nettles, we have a few speakers on this item. Looks like they're only if there's opposition, which to my knowledge there is none. I'll turn to you first.
Okay, there is not any opposition, but who's representing?
Is it Chris Applequest?
Come up, please. I did have an opportunity to watch some of the zoning case for this one. I know there was some concerns and questions about traffic study, child safety, and how tall the buildings were going to be. Have you guys worked on the traffic study or any of those concerns for the neighborhood?
Yes, sir, absolutely. So, yeah, we've committed to that. We've already gotten our proposals, and we've gotten a group engaged. And that was something we also promised to the Hallmark Camelot neighborhood early on. It is a busy road. One thing that we should note is that we will have to go through the city of Fort Worth. They'll have to approve our plan for traffic, and then also TxDOT. This is a TxDOT road. So there's a lot of, safety measures in place to make sure things are done correctly.
Okay, and I think with city staff, I'm not sure who was is it Melinda or you come? Okay, because I know that we can't require it, but we want to make sure that we have some type of understanding that it's going to happen.
Yeah, it typically happens in the plating process, so we will require one of those studies during that process. That's typically how it works. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. I just want to make sure this is affordable. One more question. I know you're going to be working with the academy, the Bezos Academy. How is that contract looking? I think one of the questions was if they decide not to come, what would you do with that parcel of land or area inside the complex?
Sure. No, that's a great question. So we've been working with Bezos Academy for a while. We're really excited about it. It's probably the most exciting thing about this development. Obviously, it'll be a Class A development with affordable housing that's very needed. But the Bezos Academy, we've signed an MOU, so we have a memorandum of understanding. The next step is to get a lease signed. So we're waiting on those documents to come to us. They have template agreements that they use. So we're waiting on that. But they're a great group. We're really looking forward to it. Sabrina Watkins may be here. She's with Bezos Academy. I know she was running late, and that was our fault. We initially thought it was going to be an evening meeting, so, but she could answer any questions that you have. But to answer your question, if they decided for whatever reason they didn't want to move forward with us, we're moving forward with them. There's no issue in terms of our commitment. If they decided they found another site in Fort Worth, then we would move forward with another group. We're working with Kids U right now on a development in Dallas, and they're providing free after-school care, free tutoring, free meals. Basically, we just give them the space for free, and they provide all those services. So we would look at using another 501c3 to still, meet that need. But right now, we're 100% committed to Bezos Academy.
Okay, thank you. And I will say I have been one of the loudest voices here on council about affordable housing. We can't get enough of it. I worked for the Housing Authority for probably about 5 years, and I know the importance of making sure that we have homes for our residents. In sync with that is providing childcare. And so I love the model that you have. I'm excited about it. And so my petition to you is to make sure that what we have said, our word is our bond, and that we move forward with exactly what you guys have proposed. And if there's any hiccups along the way, I'm willing to work with your office or with your group to make sure that we get someone else in there to provide those services. Because Crowley is a busy road, but we do need the housing there. So I'm going to motion to approve this zoning case. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Got a motion to approve and a second as well. And I'll reiterate that. Congratulations, Chris. This is a huge project for your district. The city of Fort Worth has been trying to court Bezos Academy for quite a while to get them interested in childcare in our city. So I'll reach out personally to Sabrina and Ms. Watkins and meet with her as well on how we can be supportive. But thanks for seeing this to fruition. We appreciate you. Any other discussion, council? Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-0222.
We have one speaker on this item, Council Member Hill, but I know that I was going to try to call on you first, see if your audio is working. No, make sure it's up on volume. Just a second, Macy. Or making sure on our end, just a second. Okay, try to speak again. No. Try one more time with your headphones out and see if that works. That worked before. No. No. Let me turn to IT really quickly, or we can maybe come back. Do we think it's worth trying to another troubleshoot with her, DeMario?
Let's try. Can you hear me now?
There we go. Yes, we can hear you. Councilmember Hill.
Okay. All right. I'm just going to say a few words before Mary Nell gets up. This property is, it's a very shallow, small property right up Bowman Roberts Road. I personally drove the property, drove Bowman Roberts, walked the property. I do think it's something that we need to think about as we move forward with the new master thoroughfare revision. This probably needs to be on there. Bowman Roberts, that curve is extremely dangerous. I'm gonna let Mary Nell go ahead and talk, but I just don't think a high density multifamily project is going to work on this property.
Thank you, Councilmember Hill. Mary Nell, if you want to come to the, nope, she's not speaking. Our first speaker against is Jeff O'Quinn. Jeff will be followed by Russ Davis.
Thank you very much. We live at the corner of Bowman Roberts and 10 Mile Bridge at 6120 10 Mile Bridge Road. We are the contingent, we adjoin on the south side. And I think the main concern that we have as the citizens and voters in that community is the stretch of the city services that are already intact, both police and fire, to add a multifamily in the middle of a residential district would just stretch those services even more. Also, I'm not sure that it would benefit the property values also in that area. So our concerns are by most of the people in the area, very large numbers, are concerned about these issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. O'Quinn. Our next speaker is Russ Davis, followed by Ray Ojeski.
Hello, thank you. Similar to him, I live basically right behind or right in front of the property. Just start off with, even though there's roughly 15 other properties that are kind of adjacent to this, we did a petition to see what kind of interest we get in this matter. And to my surprise, we got over 600 residents that have signed a petition here in opposition of the project. There's just currently too many new multifamily builds, including there's one about a quarter mile down or a mile down by the Marine Creek Reservoir. Local schools are already currently overloaded with students, and teachers struggle to help with assist and with the existing larging scale of classes. Previously mentioned, the property owner in question is located in Boise, Idaho, and would subsequently divest the city of income and exporting their profits outside the city. So only the annual taxes will remain in local circulation. This does not benefit the local community of the city. And a little more of a selfish note, the previous owner used the land to breed show cows. Cows are peaceful and quiet neighbors. I don't think 60 apartment units will be. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Ray Ojeski, followed by David Mendez.
Good morning, Mayor, Council. On behalf of the Eagle Mountain Saginaw Independent School District, the district does oppose the case today because of the condition of Bowman Roberts Road. The road sits between an elementary school and a middle school for the district, and transportation to and from those schools is a concern of the district, that it be done safely, and the condition of the road is just simply not adequate with this additional development to safely transport those students. So with that, we would register our opposition. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ojeski. Our last speaker is David Mendez. Mr. Mendez.
Mayor and Council, I'll be very brief. David Mendez, representing Northwest Neighborhood Alliance and Marine Creek Ranch HOA, which I am president of. The problem here is focused on Bowman Roberts Road and 10 Mile Bridge. This council voted to eliminate the connector category for the master thoroughfare plan, which is why 10 Mile Bridge and Bowman Roberts Road are not on the master thoroughfare plan. Please consider extending and putting back that connector category so that the Bowman Roberts and 10 Mile Bridge can be added to the master thoroughfare plan, and hopefully a plan to improve these roads within the next 10 to 15 years can actually be implemented. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Hill, that's the last of our speakers on this item.
Okay, and I just want to reiterate again, I do think we need to look at adding Bowman Roberts onto the master thoroughfare plan when we revise that. I move to deny ZC 23-22 without prejudice.
Motion and a second.
Mayor, just want to make one.
Yep, and I think Councilmember Nettles has a comment. I think maybe Councilmember Flores. Go ahead, Chris.
Thank you, Mayor, for the opportunity. I will be supporting Councilwoman Hill on this motion. I do want to give some context to the stigma around multifamily and apartment complexes. I think we need to be careful correlating them with crime, loudness, and noise. I think that's disgenuine that there are some people in our communities that, for one, don't want the hassle of having a house and having to cut yard and having to take care of the amenities in their home. And then frankly, there are some residents that just cannot afford to purchase a home. And so we have multifamily and apartment complexes to help every single person in the city of Fort Worth. We must realize that this is one of the 13 largest cities in the United States, and so we have to act accordingly. So that's homes, that's apartment complexes, that's STRs, that is mobile homes, that wherever it is to make sure that everyone in the city of Fort Worth has a roof on the top of their head. So I just wanted to add some context. But thank you, Mason. Here I will be supporting your motion to deny.
Thank you. Councilmember Flores?
Yes, this case was located previously in District 2, and while looking at that, yes, the subject of, 10 Mile Bridge not being part of the Master Thoroughfare Plan is a valid point of concern. And we've had that discussion at the neighborhood level. Before it became a case in District 7, I had already requested that TPW staff look at adding this to the MTP, and Kelly Porter's already taken care of that.
Thank you, Councilmember Flores. Councilmember Hill?
Just wanted to reiterate too what Nettle said. I mean, that we do need affordable housing and multifamily, but I think when it comes down to this case, it's about the safety of the road. And that's the main point I want to get across today.
Thank you, Macy. Any other discussion, council? Got a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion to deny carries.
Next item is ZC-23-042.
Councilmember Martinez, we have two speakers on this item, but I think they're both callers who have waived their speaking today because of a likely continuance. I'll turn to you.
I'll motion to continue ZC 23042 to the next city council meeting on August 8th.
Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-046.
Councilmember Blaylock, we have one speaker on this item, and it is Clay Christie.
Good evening or afternoon, Council. Clay Christie, Claymore Engineering, 1903 Central Drive. I'm talking with staff. I think there's apparent continuance potentially for this project to have some further discussion. So I'm very happy to continue that conversation, or we can move forward. But what we have is we have on the corner of Timberland and 35, we do have a proposed car wash for the Club Car Wash project that we have there. Worked with zoning staff to reorient our site plan, working with them and working with staff appropriately to get that configured to better fit the site with the adjacent developments and what we have there. And so we do have, we worked with them and we're here today. And if there's any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Clay. Councilmember Blaylock, any questions?
So please reach out and schedule a meeting with my office and let's talk together. And yes, I would like to request or motion to continue to the August 8th meeting.
I've got a motion and a second. Any other discussion, council? Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-062.
We have one speaker on this item, Councilmember Beck. Only if there's opposition. To my knowledge, there is none, but I'll turn to you first.
I'm going to move to continue this to the August 8th meeting to give the applicant the opportunity to reach out to our office.
Got a motion? Second, council? Second. Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-064.
Councilmember Flores, our first speaker on this item is Michelle Gonzalez, followed by Ivan Rodriguez.
Hello, Council. My name is Michelle Gonzalez. I am a community member from District 2, a daughter of immigrants, and I am in support of short-term rentals that are run by members of their own community. Today, I would like to address a pressing concern that affects many communities: gentrification by multi-million-dollar companies. It is an issue that often leads to displacement and the loss of our community identity. However, we can provide a solution that allows our community members to make ownership and control of change. Short-term rentals by members of their own community neighborhoods. These rentals can serve as a powerful tool for communities and individuals to invest, counteract gentrification, and prevent dominance of multi-million-dollar companies and funders. Allow me to explain you reasons why short-term rentals are promising investment for communities and individuals to regain control. By owning and operating these rentals, individuals can become stakeholders in revitalization of their communities, local residents rather than concentrated in the hands of large corporations and funders. This sense of ownership allows communities to shape their destinies and prevent negative effects of uncontrolled gentrification. Additionally, short-term rentals provide a neighborhood with means of leverage and our own unique characteristics and our heritage. By offering short-term rentals, communities can boost economic growth without sacrificing their identity. This approach helps preserve the distinctive characteristic of our neighborhood while generating income and opportunities for local residents. By embracing short-term rentals, our communities can strike balance between progress and heritage, ensuring a sustainable future for all. Short-term rentals empower individuals to become entrepreneurs and take charge of their own economic destiny. By owning and managing their properties, individuals can participate in financial benefits. This economic empowerment enables residents to reinvest in their own neighborhoods, support local businesses, and foster a sense of pride and resilience. It shifts the power dynamic away from large corporations and funders and back into the hands of our community and who are the greatest stakeholders in its future. Short-term rentals allow our communities to set their own rules and regulations instead of being subject to whims of companies and funders. Communities can implement policies that prioritize the needs and interests of our local residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. Our next speaker is actually speaking on behalf of a group, I think Ivan Rodriguez. Ivan, I think you have a few people here that are present for group time. Can you just stand up for us, please? Thank you. We're good. Thank you very much.
All right, so I'm limited to 3 minutes still?
6 minutes, actually.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, hello everyone, I'm Ivan Rodriguez, and I stand before you, of course, requesting a zoning change for the short-term rental of my mother's home into a planned development in order to allow an STR. So a little bit of background. Doesn't come with slides, okay. Basically, my mother has owned the home for over 25 years, and she has lived on this street since the late 80s. And that's a picture of the home right there, thank you. And so essentially, ever since we've owned the home, we've pretty much had this as an open door policy where family members can come in and stay at various time frames, several months to a couple of years. And that is essentially the purpose of why we have lived there, to allow family to live with us. So a little bit more information is that, of course, I've since gotten married and moved out 6 years ago. And during that time, it has continued to be a home for relatives to come in and stay, right? But in the past year, most of them have already moved out to their own homes. And so for that reason, the home has pretty much been only utilized by my mother whenever she isn't working or watching my kids. And so considering the fact that this home is so close to the stockyards, we saw this as an opportunity primarily for the weekends to allow tourists to come in and stay. So that is the reason why we are requesting. And so a little bit of information on the short-term rental is, of course, we plan to allow this to only have 6 people max, and we would, of course, review the guests that want to stay with us to make sure that they are good members and would take care of our home. Family members would clean the home, and of course, we would inform the guests of information such as where the trash bins are located and trash pickup days. I know that some of the main concerns regarding STR pretty much has to do with the noise that can come with it, right? So there are, of course, tools that we can use, such as Noise Aware, where we can implement it inside and outside the home that would notify me if it gets a little too loud, for example. All it does is control it detects the sound levels, and that way I can inform the individuals that are staying to try to keep it down. Additionally, the neighbors would have my contact information to reach out to me if any concerns come up. We would, of course, inform them of the ordinance that is in effect in Fort Worth. And of course, from a security standpoint, we plan on implementing smart locks so that we can control access codes and provide those to the individuals, as needed, so that they can come and go as needed. All right, let's see. And so here is a quick overview of where the home is located. You can kind of see where it's highlighted here on North Houston Street. That is the place of the home. And pretty much about 50% surrounding the area is a mixed use, where it's a parking lot for the stockyards and, of course, other businesses that are located. So that is a quick aerial view. But here in the next slide, you will see the actual zoning. So the item that's highlighted, of course, is my mother's home. And as you can see, it's predominantly zoned for commercial mixed use. And so for that reason, we are in close proximity, as I stated. And I think one of the main concerns that the city council has is protecting the neighborhoods of the area, right? But considering that we have such a large presence of commercial, I think this is a good opportunity for the council to approve an STR for this situation, since we are not surrounded entirely by just a neighborhood entirely, right? So it's a commercial zone. And this is something, of course, that we are hoping the city council can side with us on. And then we also received signatures from the neighbors. So this is a case where we have support from our neighbors. I received 22 signatures for compromising of 24 properties. This includes tenants and, of course, homeowners that live on this street. And as I stated before, considering that my mother has lived on this street for 30 plus years, we do have the support from our neighbors. And of course, we reached out to the Northside Neighborhood Association, and that is their letter that we received after I spoke with them and essentially presented a similar presentation for them. So of course, one of the oppositions is from the Fort Worth Stockyards Business Association. They did provide this letter about a week after the letters of notification were sent out. So I don't believe that they had enough time to actually reach out to the entire members that are present with the Stockyards Business Association, because typically they only meet on the third Monday of the month, and that is not enough time for them to have met. So I believe that because of that, the individual that sent this letter is actually the director of sales at the Spring Hill Suites Fort Worth Historic Stockyards that is near my mother's home, and I believe that poses a conflict of interest because she was essentially representing the hotel. And so that is the gist of it. Any questions that I can answer, considering I have a few more seconds?
Any questions, Mr. Rodriguez? Carlos, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez, and thank you for meeting with me last week. As you said, you did present a petition there, and you told me at the time that you're going to be working on getting more signatures. At the same time, you told me that there were also people who were opposed to your petition but did not sign it, correct?
That is not correct. Nobody that I spoke to was in opposition.
Okay, that is not what you told me at the meeting, for the record,
That is what I stated, sir.
Okay, then you're changing your answer.
That is not what I am saying. I've always stated that I have not received any opposition from all of the people that I spoke with.
Okay. All right, I'm not going to debate that here, but we have notes. So, in as far as your perception of the conflict of interest from the Stockyards Business Association, they are a business association. So in their capacity, they're not. You also made an outreach to the historic Northside Business Association, did you not?
To the Northside Business Association, yes.
Correct, which is actually a community development corporation. Now, did they submit a correspondence to you?
To me personally, I did not receive that.
Okay, I see. All right, because it's my understanding they did not hold a vote on that during their meeting, but it was actually taken after the meeting, but not a formal vote. But ultimately, where my concerns lie, as I spoke to you, is the use, right? If we can put up the map again, the surrounding land uses, this is in a neighborhood, and it is part of the Northside neighborhood area. Years ago, there was some planning done by the zoning staff that went ahead and examined all the surrounding uses there in order to create an orderly buffer of uses separating the neighborhood to protect it and those commercial and entertainment uses of the stockyards. That's still in place there. UR was done as part of a council-initiated rezoning. Now, your property, or I should say your mother's property, is a single-family residence. The reason it's UR, so that everyone understands, is to the side of you, you have a circa 1970s apartment complex, maybe 1980s, that is in place. UR serves as a transitional buffer between higher density residential uses and single-family uses. That's why that was in place. So notices would have gotten sent out at the time if the owner chose not to, offer a different opinion. That's where those overlays were. But you are in a residential area, so I took that under consideration. I did receive a number of calls, correspondence about that. Looked at your, petition as well. And yes, you are correct. It is signed by tenants and homeowners alike. There are homeowners who are against this as well. What other groups did you make outreach to?
That was it. So pretty much just the Northside Neighborhood Association, and then the Northside Business Association, and of course my neighbors.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Carlos, we have 2 additional speakers. Melissa Wade Hunter will be followed by Paul Hunter.
Just briefly, I ask for denial of this application. Promises from the applicant do not make this commercial use fit for this neighborhood. The STR label will stay even after a sale of the property and sets a bad precedent. Oh, there's that word, precedent. We hear it, I hear it in a lot of meetings. And people, for the validity of the zoning cases, say, no, that doesn't happen. We consider everything on a case-by-case basis. But there are often those questions, is it done anywhere else? Do you have similar examples? But it is a fact. It was sad to hear at the rezoning commission meeting, supporters of this application describe opposition as rich and wealthy associations, and not in this area. This is about the health of this neighborhood, not dollars. The North Fort Worth Historical Society, in which I am representing today, is concerned with the history and well-being of all of this area. That includes 2302 North Houston. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Paul Hunter.
I have only a few words. The map shown is been part of the package. I think the circle generally represents what would be considered the immediately affected area. However, the petitioner did draw names from outside the circle area. We see the gray structure in the middle, that is the house in question. The yellow areas are non-supporting. So I think that maybe indicates that the support for this is just not quite as broad as might have been presented. So that's really all I have to say. Question?
Thank you, Mr. Hunter. Councilmember Flores, that's the conclusion of our speakers.
All right, thank you, Mayor. All right, looking at this case, from different angles, from a land use compatibility, it's not compatible. From a comprehensive plan consistency, not consistent. PDs do afford us some flexibility in being able to do what we can using the base zoning as a platform. Yeah, I consider that as well. Knowing that there are investor-owned properties in this area, and knowing that, in fact, 2 properties are being remodeled right across the street from it, indicate to me that there is a desire, and I think a building desire, to look at other uses for these single-family homes. From my view, and this goes to the crux, as council is aware, the Short-Term Rental Alliance has filed a lawsuit against the city, against our ordinance. Long-term rentals provide habitation. Short-term rentals provide hospitality. Hospitality is a commercial use. And this commercial use is being proposed as being within a neighborhood. And I can certainly understand why the applicant would want to do that, given the proximity to the stockyards area. But there is a lot of residential in that area, single family, also some historic B2 properties as well. This is zoned UR, but UR, again, for the reasons that I already gave, is a residential category. The property being located and immediately surrounded by residential uses, again, I've considered all the correspondence that I've received, spoke to the applicant as well. From my view, considering, again, what I've already stated, I'm going to make a motion to deny without prejudice. And I do this to allow time for the lawsuit to be heard in court and get a resolution on the matter. Until that time, I do not want to change what has been worked hard before in years past to have defined boundaries of the neighborhood and not let commercial uses begin to intrude into that said neighborhood. The North Side neighborhood is a historic neighborhood, and I've heard from several people, some that are not here, that wish to protect it. Gentrification can be facilitated through zoning changes, maybe unintentionally by what this council does. Therefore, we have to be very careful, in our in whatever decisions we make sure that we do distinguish, between residential uses, commercial and entertainment-related uses. So in making this motion, it does afford time for this matter to get resolved in the courts, and it also offers, depending on what that decision is, for the applicant to come back to council and resubmit. So that is my motion.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion, council? Councilmember Nettles?
Thank you. I know, Councilman Flores, you did reach out to me. I didn't get a chance to speak with you about this. I do want to pull up that map that shows the uses again, because I think it was a good concern that I had about where are we going to allow these STRs in areas. So if you can pull that map up, and if staff can, how close proximity is this staff? Is it close to the stockyards and other commercial usage outside of the neighborhood that they showed us?
It is. If you look to the right or to the east, there are some commercial uses in close proximity to the site.
What are the letters on there?
SY, that's at Stockyards District.
Okay.
All those SYs are our Stockyards form-based district.
So basically on the very next street from the highlighted area.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay. And I think when we discussed and we talked about bringing STRs to the PD process and to the zoning process so that we can take a deeper dive in where does it actually fit, if it fits at all. And I think one of the major concerns was that STRs is not put inside of a neighborhood that is heavily A5. And I'm looking at this map, and I do see the map that the gentleman showed earlier where the houses around showed that they was in disagreement. But the proximity to this house and commercial, at the point that I think he made was this is an opportunity to show where a good STR may be used. And I do know that when we change this usage, it does go into the commercial category. But I think that's also a play on words. I mean, because they're not going to be selling merchandise in there. They're not going to be selling wine and beer. The people who's going to go in that house are going to be people who are going to be staying the night to probably go to the stockyards or to Dickey's Arena or into the entertainment district. So although it may be commercial use, but it's going to be used for bed stay and eating. And so I'm not going to make a big deal of this, but I wanted to make a point. I'm not rallying any votes, but I do think that we need to set a standard on this dais and on this council when and if we're going to use STRs. And I think this place, other than the neighborhood that you talked to, Councilman Flores, and your leadership in your council seat, I personally think that this is a great opportunity to show a great uses of how we use the STRs.
Thank you, Councilmember Nettles. Any other discussion, council? If not, got a motion to deny in a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-065.
We have one speaker on this item, Councilmember Beck, and it's Corey Vaughn.
Good afternoon, Mayor, council members, and staff. My name is Corey Vaughn. I'm a real estate project manager with Quick Trip. First, I'd like to thank staff. They've been great to work with. We're excited about the possibility of developing another QT in Fort Worth. And per Councilman Nettles' recommendation, we reached out to the neighborhood for support. And we have 2 letters from Oak Ridge Terrace as well as Highland Hills. For letters in support. I have a presentation, but for the sake of time, I'll just answer at this time any questions you may have.
Any questions, Councilmember Beck? No? Thank you. That's the conclusion of our speakers, Elizabeth.
All right, thank you. First, I want to thank Councilman Nettles. This was previously District 8, so he got to do all the legwork for me, and I just get to take credit for it. So appreciate that. It's a little turn of events there, huh? Move to approve.
Motion and a second. Please vote.
Next item is 23-23-067.
Councilmember Flores, we have quite a few speakers on this item. I don't know if you want to say anything before we get started.
Yes, Mayor, I do. I think we have listed 58 speakers on the case. And in the interest of everyone's time, I would just let everyone know, first and foremost, and I did talk, to the applicant's representative, that it is my intention to make a motion to deny this case. I can elaborate on those reasons later. You're still welcome to speak if you'd so like, again, in respect of your time and our time. So we'll go forward. Anyone who wishes to speak can.
Thank you. Our first speaker is Mary Lynn Smitherman, followed by Jay Skaggs.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. My name is Mary Lynn Smitherman. I am here on behalf of Kathleen Paraskevopoulos. She is the owner of the property right next to the west of the property that is issued here today. She's not able to be here in front of the council members today, so she has asked me to express her opposition to the zoning change of the property at issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker actually says they don't want to speak. I'm just going to make sure Jay Skaggs, if Jay's here, you're good. Okay. Jimmy Joe Jenkins is our next speaker, followed by Shirley Wheat.
Hi, my name is Jimmy Joe Jenkins, and I live at 400 Athenia. And I stand before you today not just as a resident, but I represent a multitude of neighbors affected by the proposed zoning changes. I'm here to express the concerns shared by the residents of Idlewood, Crestwood, the entire River District, Monticello, Westworth Village, even the city of River Oaks, and the families of the Castleberry ISD. These communities are among many others heavily relying on the White Settlement Road for their daily commute. We say no. Our collective concerns is also echoed by over 700 petition signers who've explicitly voiced their discontentment with the current trajectory of the zoning changes. What we see here today is a significant deviation from the master plan, a plan that was crafted with the promise of harmonious, sustainable, and community-centric neighborhood. Instead, we find ourselves in the midst of an expanding urban concrete jungle where apartments are sprouting up everywhere, leaving little room for green space and the community's soul to breathe. The original master plan was a vision designed to balance urbanism with nature, commerce with community, and growth with preservation. But the recent deviations, which I don't have the chart, but at every zoning that was offered to the River District has deviated. Most of them by hundreds of apartments. We're saturated. Every time we replace green space with a towering apartment complex, we chip away at the essence of our neighborhood. We met with Townside at Himes one day before the zoning meeting. We said no. We went to zoning meeting. We said no with a 30-day continuancy. We met at Castleberry with the neighbors with Townside. We said no. We went to the zoning. We said no. Zoning said no. Today, we're with the city council, and we say no. We are asking you to say no also. The relentless drive to add more apartments is not the development we had envisioned. We are therefore united in our stance. Everyone here in the white shirts, including Mary Nell, we stand here advocating for a balanced approach to development, an approach that respects and preserves the character of our neighbors and meets the needs of our residents. In closing, let's consider the implications of our decision today. We are not just deciding the placement of a few more buildings, we are shaping the future of our neighbors. I implore you to listen to the voices of over 700 petitioners who aren't able to come today, but the collective voices of our neighbors, and refuse the proposed zoning changes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. Our next speaker is Shirley Wheat, followed by Bradley Kent.
Council, Mayor, thank you for hearing my little bit today. I actually live in River Oaks, which is right on my backyard, butts up to the River District. So what affects them affects me as far as traffic, anything in that area. I had the pleasure and the honor of being a council person in River Oaks at one time. And it's a hard job. You're having to serve people with giving them what they want and at the same time giving them what they need. And sometimes those can be two totally different things. There was a time several years ago when, before I was on the council, that there was a group that wanted to come and put apartments, excuse me. And we did a lot of research. A friend of mine, actually, she's with me today. We actually are the directors of our community center. And we did not want the apartments, and people who were, most of the people in River Oaks did not, so we fought them, did a lot of research. And I actually got permission today to use some statements. And Mr. Nettles, I do agree with what you said about apartments, but I did get a lot of information from officers, both Fort Worth, River Oaks, Sansom Park, White Settlement, and nearly every officer I spoke to said that apartments usually meant higher crime. Well, our little city, we are down 4 officers because people are just, nobody wants to be an officer anymore. And thank you. And we need our officers, but we don't need to add to what problems we already had. We had no apartments in that area. Now we have 1,500 apartments within 2 years pound on us. Traffic is horrendous. I just do not want apartments. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sweet. Our next speaker is Bradley Kent, followed by Brandon Bledsoe on behalf of a group.
Good afternoon. I'll be brief. My name's Bradley Kent. I live at 5313 Devers Lane in Fort Worth. We are here to say no thank you to apartments. There are places for them, and we understand, but this is a very highly saturated area in the River District, and there needs to be a balance between apartments and homes. I'd also like to thank Carlos Flores and Macy Hill for coming to our public meeting, which we held, and there we had over 75 people, and unanimously everyone said no thank you to more apartments. So we're asking you to deny this. There are over 1,500 apartments, and we have 700 signatures, and there's not even 700 homes in our River District. So I think that's pretty interesting. And also, the value of those people's signatures should mean something. So I wanted also to point out this master plan that you got, the zoning changes. Every building, apartment building that has a parking garage got an additional story. So in the master plan, there's already even more apartments. They're not even filled yet, and we're applying to build more. So I'm asking you all to deny this zoning change. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Brandon Bledsoe, I think on behalf of a group. If you're here with Brandon, if you don't mind just standing up really quickly.
Good afternoon,
Perfect.
Mayor and
Go ahead.
council members. And again, I'd like to agree with everyone's comments before, and I specifically want to thank Councilman Flores and Councilman Hill, Member Hill, for cooperation that they're exhibiting here. I just want to put things in context that in a couple of planning cycles here in this neighborhood, it's reported that the Walsh Ranch has almost over 2,000 residents. And here, with the amount of multifamily and higher density that we've created in the River District, we've created almost a Walsh Ranch within 1 mile of 2 Trinity River bridges. To my knowledge, the area has not had the type of attention that we focused in other urban villages, Rosedale, South Main, Ray Street, Berry Street, traffic calming, master thoroughfare plans, safety, all the things that you guys consider when you're planning growth in the area. This kind of snuck up on us. And I might also add that it's been done with no, or to my knowledge, any public sector funds. So we have hundreds of millions of dollars of assessed value that's been created in this neighborhood with not a lot of focus and thought on its future. And so we're asking as neighbors, we have the density that you want. We have that walkability. We have the people. We need commercial services. We do not need to take commercial zoned land out of inventory. Let's let the market catch up. It's true, this site has not been developed in a long, long time. It's also very true that you don't have 2,000 more residents living in very proximity to this arterial corner with a stoplight. So I'm going to keep it short. I appreciate your time today and also your service to the city of Fort Worth. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. Councilmember Flores, I believe that's the conclusion of our speakers.
Thank you, Mayor Parker. All right. Once again, I want to thank everyone for coming here today, being engaged. Mary Nell, thank you for trying to evolve with the input that was received during the course of our discussions. Unfortunately, we did not find, I think, a point where we could incorporate multifamily into this. Originally, the River District plan was to have more density, in this corridor. That has been achieved. I think really what has occurred, these prior developments have evolved such as, and this is all well allowed under our ordinance, to have these bonus floors, additional units that came online. So that point of saturation that was referred to, we hit that sooner rather than later. And now you have this remaining piece on the edge, of the River District corridor. And there's where the disagreement occurs as what to do, right? There are plenty of apartments present. There are more apartments coming online. There will be more traffic concerns. For example, the traffic study that was done for the River District was done back in 2017. That needs to be updated. So, Lauren, I see you out there in the audience. Please take note. That's going to be a request of mine for TPW to update that traffic study. To Stephen and Dana, I think we should revisit the River District plan as well, because that was done, several years back, and we need to see how we can update that per the current conditions right now in the course of development. So my motion is going to be to deny this case, right? It was very clear during our discussions. That was the type of use that was desired there was commercial. This is not it. So my motion is to deny.
Got a motion and a second. Also, Councilmember Hill, I believe you needed to recuse on this item.
Yes, in the abundance of caution, I'm going to recuse myself from voting on this item due to a business relationship with the developer.
Thank you. Any other discussion, council? Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-073.
Councilmember Crane, we have one speaker on this item, only if there's opposition, which to my knowledge, there is none. I'll turn to you first.
Sure, thanks. John, do you want to say anything? You're good. Thank you, John. Thank you for working with the neighborhood on this. Just to point out, this is it's the great notion. It's kind of the cheers of the neighborhood. There's been some issues or problems, not issues or problems, but there's been some discussion about this over the years. This was 2018, another zoning case brought back forth. But there's overwhelming community support for this expansion. What's happening is the great notion, an establishment that has been there for 30 plus years, I think 36. And they are expanding into a now closed beauty salon next door, about 1,400 square feet. I know Mr. Shaheen wanted to be here today. He's spoken in opposition, but he isn't. I'm sure he's going to watch this later. But I did want to say that I recognize, and y'all have made a lot of changes, moving things around so it doesn't disturb the neighborhood behind there. But it is, from all accounts, a great meeting place for the neighborhood and other folks that do it and have been good neighbors and stewards. But I understand his angst about the expansion and what that looks like. One of the things he did, and John and you and I talked about this, is talk about overall the aesthetics at the property. And I know at one point there were 2 or 3 trees, and they've since maybe gone. And I would appreciate it maybe if you can just explore replanting those trees down the boulevard as part of it. But with that, I think, again, there's overwhelming support, community support to expand this. And so I have no problem, and I'll move to approve.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion, council? Please vote.
Next item is ZC-23-077.
Councilmember Crane, we do have one speaker on this item, only if there's opposition. Barry Hudson. Barry?
Barry, do you want to speak? No, thanks, Barry. I'll say this. This is, again, a great project. It's going to bring healthcare to a healthcare desert in Las Vegas Trail, close to where you live, Barry. But it is the first of its kind public-private partnership between Cook Children's as well as JPS. So I am proud to move this forward so we can keep this project going. So I move to approve.
Got a motion and a second. And council, I will be recusing on this item out of abundance of caution due to my future employment that doesn't start until mid-July with Cook Children's Medical Center. But also share, Councilman Crane, you deserve a lot of credit to get to this place. Congratulations with LVT and Paige, the entire team. Barry, please send our congratulations to both JPS and Cook Children's. This is pretty transformative for this area of our community, and we're very excited. Council, I've got a motion and a second. Please vote.
Next item will be ZC-23-078.
We have 2 speakers on this item. Councilmember Nettles, the first is Ivan Gonzalez, followed by Brad Lonberger. I do not believe there's any opposition, but I'll turn to you for that.
And Mayor, since there was no opposition, we did not call them.
Oh, you're right. You told me. Well, one is Ivan here in person? Ivan is
Oh,
here. Yeah.
okay.
Do you need to hear from Ivan?
Did you want to say anything, Ivan?
Here he comes.
Okay, sure.
Hi, Ivan Gonzalez, President of Place Strategies, representing Housing Channel, a community housing development organization. So, we've been talking a lot about the housing crisis and affordable housing, and so this is going to be a planned development with a variety of housing between cottages, townhomes, and just traditional single-family houses. And so, within the Renaissance Heights, we went ahead and met with the neighborhood groups around the area, and so we're hoping that this could be a nice transition from the multifamily from the north down to the neighborhood to the south with that mix of housing. With that, give it back to Council and Mayor.
Thank you. I'm excited about this development. Many years ago, where Walmart sits, it was just vacant land, and so we have worked hard to bring that commercial quarter as well as affordable housing. And I think we're getting it right here in District 8. And I'm going to keep on staying on the front to make sure we could keep moving forward. So I'm proud about Housing Channel. We actually got some donations from Tarrant County as well as federal to make sure this project goes forward. And so with that, I move to approve.
Motion and a second. Either discussion, council? Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-079.
And we have one speaker on this item, but only if there's opposition, which to my knowledge, there is none. Councilmember Williams.
Is there anyone here in person with the applicant?
No. Well,
Okay, great.
Nobody registered.
Okay, no worries. I'm really excited about this project. I don't think it's quite ready today, so I'm going to continue to August 8th. There is still some things we need to figure out as it relates to Merrick Street with staff, and then to be able to communicate that to both the Como community and also the developer. So I'm going to make a motion to continue that to August 8th to give us some more time to figure that out.
Got a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-081.
Motion and a second, council. Please vote. Carlos. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-083.
Councilman Martinez, we have one speaker on this item, Deborah Witherspoon. Is Ms. Witherspoon here?
Deborah, are you here?
I don't believe so.
I motion to continue zoning case 23-083 to our August 8th city council meeting.
Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-084.
We have one speaker on this item, Councilmember Crane, Walter Wellborn, only if there's opposition, which I believe there is none. Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-086.
No speakers on this item, Councilmember Crane.
No. Is Amy here? I'm going to move to approve. This was a great project from Ridgely Hills at Montessori School that they're expanding, and it's been a great thing for the neighborhood, so move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Hey, Jared, vote. Vote. Sorry. That's okay. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-090.
No speakers on this item, Councilmember Beck.
Move to approve.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is ZC-23-080.
No speakers, Councilmember Beck.
Move to approve. I see Mary there. I just want to say thank you for all that you did. This has been a long one in the making, and I really appreciate all the work y'all did to get this to a yes. Thank you.
Motion and a second. Please vote.
Next item is MNC 23-0541.
Got a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is MNC 23-0600.
Councilmember Nettles. Vote. Motion carries.
Next item is MNC 23-0513.
Councilmember Martinez.
Before I move, I spoke to city staff and they shared that there was, they hadn't been very successful in communicating with this family, so I urge city staff to continue those efforts. And if you need help from me or my office, I'd be more than happy to try and contact that family. So I move that the Fort Worth City Council adopt a resolution authorizing use of the power of eminent domain to acquire .017 acres in permanent sewer easement from real property owned by Elizabeth Marianne and Fidel Espinoza. The property interest is needed for the sanitary sewer rehabilitation contract 100 project, a public use proposed future easement that will repair damaged sewer lines, allow better flow within the sewer pipes, and help prevent sewer backups. The property rights in this subject property are needed for the construction, operation, maintenance, replacement, upgrade, and repair of the permanent sewer line facility as needed. The property is located at 708 East Arlington Avenue in the Hyde Park Addition, Block 4, Lot 82, Tarrant County, Texas. The property interest to be acquired is described by meets and bounds and depicted by survey exhibits attached to this mayor and council communication.
Got a motion and a second. Please vote, council. Motion carries.
Next item is MNC 23-0514.
Councilmember Crane.
Great. I move that the Fort Worth City Council adopt the resolution authorizing use of the power of eminent domain to acquire .023 acres in permanent sewer facility easement from real property owned by Aza Mary Perez. The property is needed for the water and sanitary sewer replacement contract 2020 WSM-K project, a public use that will address sewer line maintenance. The land rights in the subject property are needed for sanitary sewer line replacements as necessary. The property is located at 3737 Bel Air Circle in the West Clip Addition, Block 9, Lot 2, Tarrant County, Texas. The property interest is to be acquired as described by meets and bounds and depicted by survey exhibits attached to this mayor and council communication.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is MNC 23-0570.
Councilmember Crane.
Yeah, I'm going to enthusiastically move to move this forward. This is part of our open space acquisition program, and I think it's a great use and acquisition.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is MNC 23-0542.
Councilmember Flores.
Move to approve.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is MNC 23-0564.
Councilmember Hill.
This is one of the first steps in the renovation of Will Rogers, renovating the sheep and swine barn into a multi-purpose facility. This will also increase stalling and equine warm-up arena capacity, and I'm excited to move to approve this.
Thank you, Councilmember Hill. Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is MNC 23-0566.
Councilmember Beck.
Move to approve.
Motion and a second. Please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is MNC 23-0567.
Second, please vote. Motion carries.
Next item is MNC 23-0604.
Motion, council. Thank you. Motion and a second. Please vote. Oh, sorry, motion carries. You're good. Go ahead.
We were a little slow.
Councilmember Crane made the motion. Councilmember Nettles made the second. Uh-huh. And I believe Councilmember Larsdorf tried to vote there. Thank you. And motion carries. Thank you, council.
Mayor and council, that's all of the action items.
And we're going to close today's meeting on a somber occasion to honor Fort Worth Police Department Officer Robert Guerrero, badge number 3072. Robert was a cherished member of Fort Worth PD, and Robert tragically passed away after a medical emergency on June 21st, 2023. Officer Guerrero was a remarkable individual whose dedication to service touched countless lives across Fort Worth. He was loved within the department, and he was loved also in the community. As a longtime NPO, he poured his heart into his work and truly made a difference. Robert was 70 days shy of reaching 25 years of service, and he made the best of each of those years. Rest in peace, Officer Robert Guerrero. Your service and dedication to duty shall never be forgotten. Please keep his family and fellow officers in your prayers during this very difficult time. With that, council, we are adjourned.